pressing that red button has never felt so good, man. And I mean that with every fiber in my being. I've been thinking, pondering for the past month and a half. How is it gonna feel when I'm actually able to sit down and do this again, man? And while I was setting up and getting the camera set up, making sure everything in the back was the same as ever, I was like, you gotta get the right camera angle. But I was like, man, how is it gonna feel? And here as I stand today, man, can't even begin to explain the amount of emotions going through me, dog. There's a lot of gratitude for the fact that so many of y'all stayed and have been patient with me. For the entire community that continued to support me through this entire stressful situation. I truly do appreciate y'all, man. I truly, truly do, man. Shout out to the community because y'all are what makes doing this so special to me, bro. Because the greatness and the awesome sauce is already great in and of itself. But because I'm able to come on here and talk to so many people about the greatness and be a part of this community, it's what really makes this entire weekly experience so special to me, man. So thank y'all so much from the bottom of my heart for being patient with me, because I am back. I'm back. I'm on load management like your boy Kawhi Leonard, but I'm back. I'm on a minutes restriction. As you can tell, I'm speaking very low because I still can't speak with a lot of strength and or volume, and most certainly can't yell. I don't want to yell, dog. I mean, I want to yell. I want to yell the best-selling manga in history, but I won't be able to do that for the time being, man. I hope everybody can understand that. But in replacement for that, if y'all can hit me with a fat caps lock best-selling manga in history in the comment section, I definitely appreciate that, man. 100%, yo. If I could see just a whole row of the best-selling manga in history, the one and the only One Piece, just 50 comments of that, man, that would make my day. That would make my day, coach. But on a serious note, man, I've been looking forward to this because I've been missing just the entire experience of doing YouTube, but specifically of being a part of the community when chapters release or when episodes release. And I've missed it, man. I've missed the medium of anime and manga. And I've just missed, being free to do whatever it is that I please, especially to do what I love to do, which is this. And so, man, I'm so glad to be back. This is a test run for this. I'm trying to see how I'm going to be able to fare through it, because I had an allergic reaction, as y'all remember, right? Whenever I was trying to do that Haikyuu episode reaction, and I had that allergic reaction, which you could still see remnants of the Chimera Ant in me. But because of that allergic reaction, I got an ear infection. And I supposed to fight off that ear infection. These swollen, I got these swollen lymph nodes and these glands, which are still there. And because they're still there, no one can tell me what is actually wrong and what is going on. I've gone to several different places, and no one can tell me what's going on. So it's been a very stressful process of not knowing what is going on, what's wrong, because everybody's like, oh, it should be gone because it's just fighting off the infections. Once the infection is gone, that's supposed to be gone. But it ain't gone, coach, you feel me? So I'm just gonna leave it up to God, man, leave it up to the fact that this is probably just a process and a trial that I have to go through. But 100%, man, please keep me in your prayers, because it's tough not being able to freely do what I want to. But I understand it's just a part of life, man. We all have to go through certain things, and I suppose it's just one of them, you know what I'm saying? But it does suck because just talking hurts at times. Just to talk with this amount of strength and volume does require a lot. But aside from that, man, because of this restriction, I have truly been able to see the value of freedom and see the value of, or just how valuable time is when we're actually healthy. It truly puts so many different things into perspective for me, and for that very thing I'm thankful for. You know what I'm saying? When you're put in a situation like this, it really does put everything into perspective, and just how small you are in this massive universe that continues going on without you. And it really, it puts you in a state of gratitude. Like, man, I'm still alive. Like, I'm still able to do this. I'm still able to have a return date. I'm still able to go around, breathe in oxygen, and live and continue to live to fight another day. You know what I'm saying? And that's what this entire experience has taught me, man. So even though it has been a struggle and has been a very stressful process, I'm very thankful for the experience that it has given me, because I've never gone through anything like this, man. I went through something, well, actually, I went through something similar, but I knew what that was, you know, back whenever I had that heart problem situation a couple years ago, if y'all remember that I had to take a month off from YouTube. But in this particular case, I've never gone through an allergic reaction like this, especially when it comes to the swollen nodes and stuff. Like, this stuff is really, really weird and off, and when you read more stuff about it, it is some pretty scary stuff, but I ain't afraid, man. I ain't afraid. We're gonna be going up into like swimwear once again on a minutes restriction. I don't know. I'm probably gonna have to take breaks. I have water next to me because I can't speak for prolonged periods of time. But aside from that, man, I'm finally ready. In the bottom of my heart, in the core of my soul, I am ready to come back on here, onto the YouTube platform in front of everybody, because I missed y'all so much, man. I mean, just going on Twitter, seeing some of your names again, going on YouTube, seeing your wonderful and incredible comments of support, and in the Discord as well, you know, just being a part of everything. It just made me miss doing this so much, man. Because I feel like here, instead of text, I can directly talk to each and every single one of you, man, and I truly do mean what I'm about to say. Thank y'all so much, man, from the bottom of my heart, because whenever you're going through a situation like that, all you want is the support of others, man. Really, I mean, especially if you're going through a situation where you really don't know if you'll ever be able to do this again. The fact that I was able to see so many incredible comments and so many of you reached out to me, and I truly do appreciate that, man. From other content creators to my subscribers to just friends here in the community, man. Y'all are the best, dog. And y'all really made me realize just how incredible this community is. You know, a lot of people dog on our community, saying it's toxic and full of a whole bunch of stuff. But for situations like this, man, y'all are the most beautiful human beings that are on this planet, man. So shout out to y'all. Thank y'all so much for keeping in touch with me and for supporting me throughout this process, man. But the time has come. The time has come. I got it here. I haven't read a One Piece chapter since 967. As a matter of fact, if somebody were to ask you, you know, what happened to that King Recon guy, I haven't seen him in a while, you tell them that the truth of the matter is that I read chapter 967 and got knocked out by the King's Hockey of how goat and incredible the chapter was. Chapter of the Decade material knocked me out for a month and a half. That is the legend of chapter 967, man. And that is how we will refer to this situation, as the legend of chapter 967. A chapter so goat that it knocked your boy out for a month and a half, man. So that's how we're going to treat it. But once again, man, we are here to read the latest installment of the Wano Awesome Sauce. The arc that I am 99% certain that by the time this is all said and done, that junk is going to be my favorite arc in the entire story. You know, up until that point in time, because I'm pretty sure the final arc is going to be my favorite arc. But Wano has so many things going for it, and I'm loving the experience in both the manga and the anime so much. I love the anime so much that usually for stuff like that, I would just watch it on my own. But no, even for the anime, I was like, I can't watch the anime on my own. The anime is too good right now. So once again, man, we are here for the latest installment in the Wano Awesome Sauce of the best-selling manga in history. Ladies and gentlemen, this is nearly the second best-selling comic of all time. It is the one. It's the only One Piece, man. That felt so good, bro. I've been waiting to do that for so long, man. Here we go. Chapter 9. Oh, actually, hold on. Let me take a quick break. Get some water. Relax. Give me a second, yeah. Alright, man. We're back. Chapter 968. Oden's Return. See, me and Oden are going through similar things, man. You know, my boy Oden had to go on a journey, on an adventure, except his adventure was way better than mine, I'll tell you that, bro. My man went to go meet Whitebeard. He met Goat, D, Roger, dog. I mean, yo, man, where's my Michael Jordan jersey? I don't know where it is, but Goldie, Roger, son. Man, when Goat found the One Piece, I mean, he lived what all of us wish we could have experienced. And he lived that, and then he came back home. So shout out to my boy Oden, man. Shout out to Oden. Chapter 968, Oden's Return. We see right here the cover story is still continuing. I need to go back and reread some of the cover story bits because it's very blurry to me at this point in time, but let's get right into it. And the very first panel that I see is Shanks. And not just Shanks. Not just Shanks. It's Shanks crying with the stride on his face, very similar to the... Y'all remember that episode that recently came out with Roger and Pedro? In that very episode, we got a scene where Roger was being executed. Very similar to the ones that we saw multiple times, like in episode 0 and in earlier, OVAs and or movies, whatever. But normally in those, like, you see Dragon and you'll see Shanks, you'll see Smoker, Doflamingo, whatever the case may be. But in this one in particular, last time I watched it, it really struck me as very interesting that Shanks, well, not necessarily very interesting, but something that just made sense, of Shanks there crying at his captain's grave, or basically at his grave, at the execution platform. And here we have another situation where he's holding on to, appears to be a cape. Or I don't know if he's holding on to somebody or if it's something, but he's just crying his eyes out, man. I can't blame him, dog. Can't blame him, like, that was his captain, bro. And he's wearing his hat, like, he realizes all of the stuff that led up to this moment. And even though they already knew, I'm sure as a crew, that this day would eventually come because Roger was sick, I'm pretty sure they just saw him as that type of person. Like, man, Roger, he seemed invincible. Like, even though the doctor said that my guy would die, I feel like Rogers was that type of dude that would deny death and be like, yo, stop. I gotta accomplish my dream first. That's just the type of guy that Roger seems, for me, to be very similar to Luffy. He grabs fate by the balls and is like, yo, we're gonna do this. And, he takes the galaxy right under his wing and he says, dog, y'all better listen to me. Listen to my demands, dog, because everything's gonna be done in the way that I want it to be done. And that's the type of way that Roger strikes me, so I can imagine how he must strike his crew. You know what I'm saying? They're with him every single day. So for Shanks, it obviously makes sense to have this type of reaction, man. When Roger returned from Laugh Tale, Red Taro came to him and asked him something, only to him, no. So I thought Roger was already dead, but no, he's clinging on to Roger himself. When Roger returned from Laugh Tale, Red Taro came to him and asked him something, only to shed tears afterward. I'm pretty sure that's whenever he learned that he was going to die. The birth of the King of the Pirates caused a stir around the world, prompting the Navy to leap into drastic action. Bro, look at the crew. Hold on, man. This doesn't feel right, bro. I thought we were done with the Roger stuff, man. I thought we were done. I truly did. I thought the Roger stuff was over. Oh man, dude, listen. Look at it. Goldie Roja. Like, come on, man. That's Roger. The man who achieved wealth, fame, power. The King of the Pirates, Gold Roger. Like, you read that in the narration, that's how legendary those lines are, man. Hey, that's Goldie Roger. Like, yo, Roger's like Rayleigh. Come on, man. Put respect on my name, dog. Put some respect on it. I'm Goldie. But I gotta say, King of the Pirates is a nice ring to it, and he starts laughing, man. Yo, Roger. Well, at this point, I can understand why the world government would want to hide your name. Factual, right? These are the type of individuals that have been hiding this entire thing up until this point in time. And really, up until Roger brought it to, like, Whitebeard's attention and to Oden's attention and pretty much to everybody's attention about, like, what the poneglyphs actually are and whatnot. That seemed like something that was pretty much kept, I'm pretty sure, just Ohara, right? At this point in time in the history of the world. Ohara, as historians were trying to figure out the truth and learn all about this, so only the individuals who probably got it from them knew about this type of stuff, and some other people too. But the fact that excuse me, they kept Roger's name as just Gold Roger, not Goldie Roger. Makes perfect sense to me. I mean, why would you want to put something like that in the paper? You know what I'm saying? But it feels like after a certain point in time, they just stopped caring about that type of stuff. Well, not really necessarily caring, but I guess, with the times changed. Well, at this point, I can understand why the world government want to hide your name. The world at large referred to everything that Roger gained as the One Piece. Dog, that gave me chills reading that. The world at large referred to everything that Roger gained as the One Piece. The world at large, man. Everyone around the world recognized and realized that all of what Roger had, wealth, fame, and power, and the treasure which he left behind on Laugh Tale, is the One Piece. Worldwide. Yo, dude, the stuff like that, man, that's beautiful. Like, that's the type of stuff that I've been waiting the entire series to hear. The One Piece, man. When you drop the title in the series, you know it's real. You know it's real. And they have no idea. Wahaha. Because of that fame, they'll all come after you, not Roger. Roger don't care. Roger's like, bring him on. I'll be the one to take out Roger. Find Roger now. Stevie. Why, bro? Why is my dude saying that? Well, y'all remember in the old Mega Man games, there was those little dudes that had like that helmet, that construction helmet, and they would like shoot little bullet beams at you. That's what this dude looks like right here, man. He looks like just one of those random Mega Man enemies. So yeah, man. Find Roger now. Like CP9. Like, come on, bruh. Steal his treasure. They said Gold Roger's got everything in his hoard. Looking... Is that T-Bone? Hold on. Give me a sec. Looking back on it now, it's all been miraculous. Bro, my boy Roger got the hat on, dog. See how far we came once I already knew I was gonna die. I have nothing but gratitude to you all. Whoa, 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 but what's with all the gushing feelings out of nowhere, Captain? You can't do that to us. You're making us blush, you rascal. Man, dude. It's like Roger has this opportunity to really look back on his journey and reflect and be like, man, this is all one massive miracle. Okay, I'm supposed to be dead, dog. Like, seeing how far we came, how much we decided to move forward with no hesitation once I realized I was gonna die. Like, man, all right, here it goes. We're ready. Lay it on us. I am hereby disbanding the Roger Pirates. There it is. There it is, man. The moment where everything changed. The moment where the biggest crew, the most popular crew in the entire world, disbanded, man. What led to us meeting Crocus at Reverse Mountain, to meeting Rayleigh and Sabaody. The birthing is at hand. Our sovereign will soon be born. And another in a distant sea, the whales are delighted in anticipation of the day the two sovereigns shall meet again. The two sovereigns. The birthing is at hand, our sovereign will soon be born. And another in a distant sea, the whales are delighted in anticipation of the day the two sovereigns shall meet again. Are they referring to Luffy here? Or like Ace? The birthing is at hand, our sovereign will soon be born, and another in a distant sea, the whales are delighted in anticipation of the day the two sovereigns shall meet again. It sounds like, just basing it off of like the whole birth thing, sounds like it could be, very well be, Ace or Luffy they're talking about here. We have been waiting for so long, it is almost here, and surely all will go well this time. Just 10 until the birth, another 15 to grow. The Sea Kings are yelling this at Roger, dog. Who the hell is talking out there? Hey, Charlie, when is the... Oh, no, they're talking about the Mermaid Princess. Hey, Charlie, when is the Mermaid Princess going to be born? In 10. I'm certain that voice was speaking the truth. Someone will be born and eventually surpass... No, bro, it might... You might be talking about Luffy, dog. And eventually surpass us. See, we were just too early. The One Piece, they call it. I wonder who will find it. We know! We know who's gonna find it, son. We've known for 968 chapters. Who's gonna find it? It's the king. It's the king, bro. That'd be my son, of course. You don't have one. The stampede scene. Oh, man. Dude, you can't drop that on me, dog. That hurts. My boy Ace, man. Roger believed that his son could do it. Roger was like, dog, that's my boy, dog. That's my son. He believed in him, bro. That's so beautiful, dog. Like, when you get little moments like that about, you know, I always love rewatching that scene with Roger and Garp in the prison where he tells him to take care of his son, because it really shows how much Roger cared, or I should say valued, Garp. You know, to leave his son in the hands of the quote-unquote enemy, you know, this person that he's gone to war with for multiple different times. And now we're having another situation like this, man. And we had a situation like this in Stampede. But to have it here in the manga... Hold on, man. I gotta reread this again, bro. The birthing is at hand. Our sovereign will soon be born. Okay, so our sovereign will soon be born. I'm pretty sure that they were referring to Shirahoshi. And another in a distant sea, the whales are delighted in anticipation of the day the two sovereigns shall meet again. So I was originally thinking that this was Luffy and Ace, because I was remembering the fact that right before Roger was executed, Ace was born. It's like, okay, it probably means that they are talking about Ace, but I was like, but that doesn't make any sense, especially if this is referring to some sort of thing that actually will happen. And another distant sea, the whales are delighted in anticipation of the day the two sovereigns shall meet again. So are the two sovereigns Shirahoshi and Luffy? Because if that's the case, then what Instant Messenger Sama had in that picture, this is something that he's known for a long time, coach. You know, Luffy, Shirahoshi, Vivi, Blackbeard. We've been waiting for so long, it is almost here, and surely all will go well this time. Yo, man, I mean, they were 100% doubled down. Like the Sea Kings 100% believed that this time everything will go as original, as according to plan. Just 10 until the birth, another 15 to grow. What the hell's talking out there? And this appears to be the sequence that Roger was like yelling. Who was talking out there? Remember whenever he and Fishman Island, whenever we got that flashback to Roger, and he's like, yo, who in the world is talking so loud? And so that's really cool to have that right there as a little Easter egg to see, you know, what exactly Roger was referring to at that point in time, and it was actually referring to Luffy and Shirahoshi, man. That's crazy. Hey, Charlie, when is Memory Prince is going to be born? In 10, I'm certain that voice was speaking the truth. And yo, when the truth is bold like that from Goldie Roger, that's about as fat of a red truth as you can possibly get, man. Someone will be born and eventually surpass us. We already know the king is going to do that. So the two sovereigns that they're referring to is Luffy and Shirahoshi, which it would actually make a lot of sense as to why Oda wanted to save Fishman Island for the first arc post time skip, because usually you remember the first one of like a saga like that extremely well. And Fishman Island, Oda had been building it up and building it up and building it up and building it up for so many years that I remember after initially finishing the arc and whenever we got to the post-arc stuff, I originally thought that what he really wanted us to focus on was the Joy Boy and an ancient weapon talk that they had at the end of the arc. You know, of course, the Noah and Shirahoshi's importance to the story and whatnot. But now seeing all of this and thinking back to the Fortune with like somebody with a straw hat will come in and destroy Fishman Island, and thinking back to all that stuff, it really does feel like Oda intentionally put Fishman Island in the place where he did in order to showcase like, yo, this is what we can expect and anticipate in the future of the story. And because Fishman Island took place dead center in the middle of the story, you know, a little after the halfway point, that's going to lead into a lot of endgame stuff. I mean, we've always known in the community that Shirahoshi and Luffy and the importance of like Noah and Shirahoshi, of course, an ancient weapon. But it feels like it's going way deeper here. It feels like this really is going into end of series stuff. This is like end of series content that I feel like we're reading here, which is very, very exciting, man. Very, very exciting. The fact that Roger knew that someone was going to come to surpass him, man, which goes back to what I was saying before. Remember back in Marineford, whenever Whitebeard was talking about, someone, the person that Roger is waiting for is not you, Teach. This is what they're talking about, bro, because he was expecting someone to come in and surpass him. And who was that individual? The king, dog. See, we were just too early, the One Piece they call it. I wonder who will find it. That'd be my son, of course. And he looks just like Ace when he does this, man. Flipping flag darts. But I will, just you wait. Yeah. Alright, time to drink, lads. Head us toward the sea where the Navy won't be waiting. I'll be the first off the ship and make sure Oden gets home next. I intend to meet with Whitebeard before I die. Should I have him send Izo back to Wano? And that meeting with Whitebeard is the legendary meeting that we saw where they started talking about the Will of D. Oh my god. So that's probably where he found out too, where he told Whitebeard about that thing that I was just talking about. Wherever he was like, yo, someone, that he's probably waiting for somebody, which is exactly what Whitebeard was referring to. Dude, my mind is being blown here, man. No, he's became very comfortable on that ship. Tell him, you take care of Waikichi for me. And, like, Izo, knowing the path that Izo took to becoming one of the Whitebeard pirates is so cool. Now I feel like whenever I go back and reread or rewatch Marineford, every time I see Izo, I'm gonna be like, I know your story now, coach. I know your story. Will do. Roger said something to his oldest confidant, Rayleigh, the man they called the Dark King. Did he tell him the legendary I won't die partner? Roger said something to his oldest confidant, Rayleigh, the man they called the Dark King. And then he stepped off of the ship. He had a whole bundle of medicine from the ship Dr. Crocus. His disease was in its final stages. But this was a man's farewell. And you have everyone crying, bro. And I can't believe them. I want to cry too, dog. Like, yo, that's Roger, bro. And he puts up the fist on some Luffy and Alabasta stuff, dude. For the crew of the King of the Pirates would never ever cry. Oh, so like, he put it down in the narration. Like, dog, this was a man's farewell. No one in the legendary crew of the King of Pirates would ever cry. And Oda showcasing in the panel was the complete opposite. Everybody was in tears. Because we know how in certain books, and I'm going to, I mean, this is definitely true in any book you'll ever find, but there's certain things that are twisted and are changed in order to make things appear to be more legendary than they actually were, right? So in this case, he's feeding on to that whole thing of probably how we look at like the actual Blackbeard and Captain John and whatnot, in our actual history, and how their legends are probably, boosted tenfold in what they actually were, because it just adds to a great story to tell in the future. But the fact that Oden decided to put that here with Roger's story is so beautiful and fits Oden so well, man. But this was a man's farewell. We were utterly stoic, not a tear was shed. For the crew of the King of the Pirates would never ever cry, man. I love this flashback so much, really. This is what I wanted. Dude, this chapter went completely different than I was expecting. I thought we were going to see Roger getting executed, and that was it. We were going to move on with Oden's flashback, but no, bro. No. The seas around Wano, it's as brutal as ever. Piles of wrecked ships that tried and failed to get in. If you steer into the wrong rapid currents, your ship will be smashed to pieces without getting any closer to Wano. Until this point, there was a purpose to this country being closed, but now we must open its ports before the day that Joy Boy appears. But now we must open its ports before the day that Joy Boy appears. It's as brutal as ever. Piles of wrecked ships that tried and failed to get in. If you steer into the wrong rapid currents, your ship will be smashed to pieces without getting any closer to Wano. Until this point, there was a purpose to this country being closed. But now we must open its ports before the day that Joy Boy appears. What in the flying flag nurse does that mean? Are they referring to Instant Messenger Sama? Are they referring to Luffy like being like a reincarnation of Joy Boy? And or being like a descendant? Is Joy Boy just a name? Like, you know how certain names, is it like the Will of D, where it's a name that is carried down through generations upon generations upon generations? Are there like different eras of different Joy Boys? That's the only way a steam like that makes sense, unless Instant Messenger Sama himself is Joy Boy. Those are the only two possibilities. I mean, I'm not gonna say that. Oda is gonna break my ankles like always, but still, it's a very, very interesting comment. So the reason why he wanted to open his ports is specifically for the day that Joy Boy arrives. Fascinating stuff, man. Fascinating stuff. This is the chapter that I'm looking forward to reading. And I definitely want to see your comments on this, man, because I'm very interested. It's not as though I'm dying. So, of course, we parted with a smile. We all know that we'll meet again one day. And once again, everyone was crying their eyes out, bro, because that's their boy, dog. That's Oden. And we know, of course, that they probably never met each other again. Oden, man. Yo, Toki. Oh, Oden, how I've missed you, Toki. And she immediately gravitates over towards him and hugs him. We have Momonosuke and Hiyori. Look at little cute Hiyori right here on the bottom, hugging his knee. Momonosuke, Hiyori, I've missed you all too very, very much. Like, yo, man, that's Pops coming home, bro. You feel me? Look how big you are now, Momonosuke. Yes, father. What's this? You've got proper manners too? Welcome back, scoundrel. You got the rest of the squad. Yo, look at my boy Kawamatsu. I almost yelled. That's my boy. I've been playing Chrono Trigger. Because I've been in this huge square soft mood. After I finished Final Fantasy VI. We gotta talk about that one. After I finished Final Fantasy VI. This massive thing, just trying to find other games, right? And Chrono Trigger is one that I've had my eye on for a very, very long time. And even though I've played it before, I never went through it. You know what I'm saying? So I've been going through it. And in Chrono Trigger, there was a character called Frog. And the moment I saw Frog, and he's holding a blade, immediately my mind, I marked out, because I was like, Kawamatsu, bro. Chrono Trigger has amazing soundtracks, man. Shout out to that Akira Toriyama artwork. But anyways, excuse me. Look how big you are now, and where are your proper manners? Oh, I didn't realize you were deserving of manners. Watch out. I didn't realize you were deserving of manners. Lord Oden, welcome back, Lord Oden. Lord Oden, we're so happy for you, Otoki. Dang, man, everybody's receiving him with open arms. I seem to be popular. I thought they would be angry. That's what I thought. You should be grateful to your wife, Lady Toki. What did Toki? Yo, Toki got clout? Toki has Kingzaki? She is a woman of great character. Once her sickness passed, she went to town and helped the people with their work. Not carrying on the will of Oden. Doing the very same thing that he did. She never put on airs for being the wife of a daimyo. She worked and sweat with everyone else and told exciting tales of her adventures. That's beautiful. That's love right there, man. Lady Toki and the children are now tremendously beloved figures in Curie. Because of all the great things they've said about you, the number of people who disparage your willful ways has dwindled down to nothing. Missing image? What do you mean missing image? Do I gotta download it? Come on, coach. Don't do this to me now, bro. No. It's not letting me. Come on. Is there no Wi-Fi in my house? No, there's no Wi-Fi. Give me a second. I'm gonna get my phone. My Wi-Fi is still out, man. But you know what? I feel like it was a sign from heaven, because I completely forgot to take my break, man. The chapter was so good, I forgot to take my break. So got it up here on my phone. I was on page 10, I'm not mistaken, yeah. You did that for me? Thank you. It's only because we love you so much, Oden, right? I'm so jealous. I wish I had game. Watch out, Raizo. This man said I wish I had game, dog. Kiku, I wanted to speak to you about Iso. Oh, I already heard from Dog and Cat. All that matters is that he's well. I see. What about Denjiro and Ashura? I didn't see them a year ago either. Ashura's leading the Yakuza and bandits in Kuri to make sure they don't go wild. Denjiro's been wandering all over Wano, borrowing and paying back money. Holding back brigands, borrowing money, these are not the signs of a healthy country. Yeah, and there's another reason that everyone is delighted about your return. I will tell the story in order. After you left the country, we did our best to manage Kuri in the absence of its daimyo with the assistance of the populace. So my father really was in poor health then. I regret that I was unable to be present at his deathbed. But he wouldn't have never known regardless, man. There was a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff going down with Orochi. The real problem is the Shogun's successor. To our chagrin, your father, Shogun Sukiyaki, recommended none other than Orochi to please lend me money, and he's remembering back to Orochi. The more I heard, the more confused I was. Orochi was like a brother to me. Now. All I did was lend him money out of consideration to Yasu, and he never once returned a single coin of it. On top of that, Orochi was the descendant of the Kurozumi clan that caused that terrible incident in the past. And now I find that Kurozumi Orochi is occupying the position of Shogun as my proxy. As I'm sure you saw on the way here, there are now a number of weapons factories in each region, full of supervisors who manage to light the labor therein. By the Shogun's own edict, the men have been put to work at the factories on wages too cheap to live on. How can this be? Why is everyone simply obeying a sniller like Orochi? The problem is Orochi has the support of a pirate by the name of Kaido. Of course. And he is as strong as a monster. Orochi's taken advantage of that to do whatever he wants. So Orochi real deal took advantage. I was wondering, I was like, how did they come to meet? You know, did Orochi snivel his way into all this, gain the popular thing of the country, and then he just so happened to meet Kaido? No, he took advantage of the fact that he knew Kaido in order to control the populace. That is completely what I expected of Orochi, but I'm glad that was confirmed. Which taking advantage, but why in the world would Kaido want to work with Orochi? You feel me? Like, what does he gain from it? Unless Kaido just wants, to be friends with the Shogun of Wano, because he just sees, well, that could very, very well be the case. He could see it as a territory, you feel me? That's right, and if he were to fight back against Orochi... Stop, Kinemo, don't tell him anything. No, speak, man, what is it? What is he gonna say? No, Kinemo, don't tell me anything. No, speak, man, what is it? For real, man, then go ahead and tell him. Raizo, take Lord Momonosuke and Lady Hiyori out of the room. Right away. About half a year ago, at a weapons factory, there was a man who refused to work, and he and his family were executed. That was the last straw. We'd had enough of Orochi's barbarity. In our anger, we took up swords and marched to the flower capital to put a stop to Orochi, but in the meantime, Kaido's followers snuck into Kuri behind us. They infiltrated the castle and threatened the life of your future heir to the Kozuki clan, Lord Momonosuke. Look at Oden's eyes. Ultimately, the enemies were driven back by Kawamatsu and Dogstorm, who had been standing guard at the castle. But it was none other than Lady Toki who gave up her body to block the enemy's arrows when they first struck. Toki, I am so sorry. It was because of our rash actions. Lady Toki suffered a terrible wound to her leg. We exposed your family to mortal danger. I am so ashamed. I have no excuse. First of all, shout out to Toki for being a G. Alright? Shout out to Toki for being a goat. In multiple different ways in this chapter. But Kanan, when you can understand where he's coming from, I mean, his pride and honor is on defending these individuals, right? And defending Toki, and defending Momonosuke and Hiyori as a part of Oden's, selective group. The fact that he wasn't able to keep that, has to be the biggest mark of shame for him as an individual, man. Show me, Toki. It's fine, Oden, the wound is already healed. My God, dude. That's a massive wound. They shot an arrow through you. You protected our son. You did so well. How it must have hurt. Stop, Oden. If you get angry over something trivial like this, the enemy will only... Trivial? Toki, you haven't heard the stories about my past. Oden. I see now how Orochi does things. Stay here and protect my family, man. I don't know all the ins and outs of the story. He has both blades. I just know this. Stop, Lord Oden. A fool is taking control of Wano. A weak, cowardly fool using the strength of a fearsome pirate. He dashes off. And taking advantage of this closed nation where no one can interfere to turn our land into a hellscape. And we get to see this wonderful, beautiful panel right here, man, of Oden just crossing right across that bridge. Moonlight out. Kozuki Oden is on his way to the flower capital. Report to Lord Orochi. You mean Lord Oden is back? The legitimate heir? Will he be the new shogun now? We get to see the flower capital. I need y'all to do me a favor, man. I want y'all to hit me with a yo in the comments. Do it for me. Do it for me, bro. Yo. Dude. Kozuki Oden has entered the castle. The soldiers are wiped out. Flee, my lord. No, wait. Lord, I mean Oden, think carefully. Kaido's not going to like it if you attack me. Think what will happen to this country. Only after I cut you in two. Oh no, I forgot this guy's crazy. And that's the end of the chapter. That is the only time in the history of me reading One Piece that I'm glad a chapter ended. I couldn't have taken much more. I couldn't have taken much more. I was about to yell with every fiber of my being. That would have been bad. That would have been very, very bad, son. For my health, for my future, that would have been bad. Spectacular chapter. Spectacular chapter. Roger moments, going back and seeing the true meaning behind that scene in Fishman Island, getting what I'm going to assume is confirmation to the true importance between Shirahoshi and Luffy in the future. That one Joy Boy thing of like opening the borders for Joy Boy, a Joy Boy to appear in the future. So like I said, it's going to be either Instant Imaginary Sama, Luffy, or someone who treats himself as a reincarnation of Luffy. Reincarnation of Joy Boy, or somebody who carries Joy Boy's name and name alone, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be one of those things. But you know, seeing Shanks and seeing, you know, the rest of the crew and their interactions, their final interactions with Roger, seeing how everyone refers to his entire treasure as the One Piece, you know, stuff like that gives you chills, man. Puts the entire series into perspective. You know, the importance of what Whitebeard probably meant by the man that Roger was waiting for, because in that final meeting between him and Roger, Roger probably told Whitebeard that, you know, about these individuals that are probably going to come and surpass us. They're probably going to come and find the One Piece. Like, who will they be? Then we had a little beautiful scene where he says, my son will find it, of course. Talking about Ace, man. Then he has that final farewell. Everybody's crying, and the fact that Oden wrote it down, that is, you know, nobody cried and they were stoic because they're manly men, and the fact that it was the complete opposite, that's so piratey and that's so One Piece, man. That's always such a beautiful scene. And same thing whenever Oden himself went back home, and seeing what Toki did for Oden, you know, to keep his legacy up, because she really knew nothing about Oden's past and whatnot, and she didn't have to, you know. She knew of the Oden of now and the Oden of present, and the fact that she went out of her way to do so many things for the people of Wano, knowing how important they were to Oden. is so beautiful to me that she did on that end, and then of course protected Momonosuke, utilizing her own body to do so. You know, shout out to Toki, man, 100%. I mean, I've always had respect for Toki as a character, but this one really made me respect her as an individual. Like, great stuff, man, on her behalf. And then same thing with Kinemon, you know, seeing his pride being tested, but that hype at the end, man. Oden having enough of this nonsense. There's just something about rage scenes in this medium that get me so hyped. And just seeing Oden fly off and saying, screw all that, man, you don't know who I am, dog. Goes right up, pwns everyone in Orochi's castle and gets right in front of his mouth. Like, dog, you finna get pwned. Great stuff, man. Amazing. This is what I missed. This is what I love so much. This is One Piece. Spectacular chapter. Continuing this incredible flashback. By the time this ends, this might end up being my favorite flashback. I mean, there's just so many amazing chapters. Can't wait, man. I am gonna stay on this chapter a day restriction. I can't handle this, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can barely handle it as it is. But this was a test and it worked. I took 3 breaks. One of them was because the Wi-Fi went out, and I think it's still out. But yeah, man. One Piece greatness. Let's see how long my Wi-Fi is out. So, excuse me, to see when I can upload this. But my plan is to upload this reaction, and then later on tonight I'm gonna see how it works on the anime side of things with tester number 2. I'm gonna react to an episode of Chihaya Furu to see how that goes, and if both of them go right, and if both of them go well, because this one went well, you know, multiple breaks, but that's fine. That's the way things are gonna have to go for right now. But in Chihaya Furu, I'll see how that goes. If that goes well as well, then I'm officially back, man. I'm gonna try to do this as frequently as possible. I'll try to come back tomorrow to do this once again, to react to another chapter of the best-selling manga in history. This was so much fun, man. Like, I needed this. I truly did, bro. Thank y'all so much for watching. Thank you so much for being patient with me. We're back and better than ever, man. Can't wait for the greatness. Once again, hit me with a massive caps lock best-selling manga in history or yo for this amazing chapter. And I'll see y'all in the comments section, man. And please, if I said anything in the video that gets confirmed in a later chapter, please don't do it. Please do not spoil me, man. I really am looking forward to reading the next few chapters. But aside from that, this is a chapter I am looking forward to rereading throughout the day to get ready for the next reading session tomorrow, man. It feels so weird for me to say that, but can't wait, man. But I know my limitations. I was about to lose it there. I can't handle multiple One Piece chapters at once, bro. That's the only series I can't do. You know what I'm saying? But I will see y'all next time, man. Have an awesome day. One Piece greatness. Feels so good to be back, man.